Today we're going to be talking about Saga of the Swamp Thing number 50. Big anniversary issue, written by Alan Moore, pencils by Steve Bissette and Rick Veitch, inks by John Totleben and Tom Mandrake. Our colorist on this issue was Tatjana Wood. The cover is by Stephen Bissette and John Totleben. Now, I know it takes a while for these episodes to come out, but we are filming this right after Tatjana Wood has passed away. She was just a few days shy of being 100 years old, and I'd like to dedicate this episode to her.
Yes, definitely. She did a wonderful job throughout her career with coloring and stuff. And I mean, I think she made a lot of these issues really pop. I think you even said sometimes the coloring saved some of the artwork on these. So she did a great job. She had a great career.
Absolutely, 100% agree with you. And she had a prolific career, and everything I've seen by her was wonderful. Now, I do want to warn you, everybody, in advance. This episode is going to be a two-parter. The issue is just too big for it not to be. It's too much to cover in a single video, and our editor, Nacho King, has been a little annoyed with us for how long our videos are getting. So, yeah, we really needed to cut this one in half.
On top of the fact of if we would have sat here for this entire time, my butt would have gone numb, and I need my butt.
Yes. Now, last thing I want to do is I want to give a shout out to Zap. He is our second Patreon supporter, but he is the first Patreon supporter who doesn't personally know me. So thank you, Zap. Thank you for leaving all the comments on all of the videos. Thank you for watching all of the videos. And I am having an awesome time interacting with you on Patreon. I know you had some questions for us. Due to the nature of your questions, we're going to answer those at the end of our second video.
Yes, we would like to do them now, but it's spoilers. So we have to wait. Also, I want to say like, hey, thanks for noticing the Max hat. That is great. I was hoping someone would point that out.
All right. So, Cookie, it's here. We've been building up to this for like 16 issues or more. It's finally time.
I know. I kind of feel a little cheated because like, I didn't take this as serious as I should have. I should have went out and got like a steak dinner, some wine, maybe like some cupcakes or something as I'm reading this, but no, I just had some leftover pizza and just sat down and started reading. So,
And just look at this cover for issue 50, right? I mean, this cover is phenomenal. We've got Dr. Fate, Deadman, Phantom Stranger, Swamp Thing, the Demon, the Spectre hanging out there in the background, some greed dude there on the right. I'm not really sure who that is. And all of these characters are riding into battle on demon horses. We know from the previous issue that they're riding to stop the great darkness from destroying heaven. This art is just phenomenal. I mean, everything about this speaks to me, and if I had seen this on the comic book stand, I would have picked it up in a heartbeat.
oh, I agree. Absolutely love this cover. I remember this cover growing up, like I said, going through my brother's comics and stuff. And he'd go out to work or whatever, and I sneak into his room and dig through his comic boxes, looking at stuff. And this cover always stood out to me because it just looked so epic. It almost has like a Western vibe to it too, with the way that they're riding in. Almost like for some reason, kind of pops in my head is the Magnificent Seven. There's not seven of them there, I don't believe, but holy
Actually,
crap, there's
there
seven of
is.
them there. It is a Magnificent Seven. It is a Swamptastic Seven.
All right, very good. So we move on to the first page where we open with Cain looking down a well and we see Abel climbing out of it. In panel 3, we get a reference to the bird that we've been talking about in the previous two issues. If you'd like to know more about that bird, check out our last two videos. Cain mentions a reanimated Valley Girl. Do you know who he's talking about there, Cookie?
I have no idea. I was actually trying to figure that out, but I mean, with it being the 80s, I'm not sure who it could have been.
So I actually know the answer. Elvira had taken over Kane's comic book House of Mystery for a little while. She spent about a year hosting the House of Mystery, the character of Elvira. So that is who he is talking about.
Okay, that is awesome, and that makes me want to track those down because I actually have gotten really big into Elvira. So
Okay, so and then I have a question. Does this mean that Cain and Abel exist in our universe and that Swamp Thing does too?
that, or you could just say, hey, going off a parallel universe theory of like, okay, everyone that exists in this universe would be in a parallel universe. So technically, there would be an Elvira there.
I suppose that's true. And this was a 2D Elvira, not a 3D one. So there is that. So at the bottom of the page, we see Abel lifting the anvil out of the well that came through in with him. And Cain says he has something to discuss.
But I want to point out, I know you always kind of give crap to Bissette on the faces and stuff, and I don't know if this was a Bissette page or a Veitch page or whatever, but the okay, that middle panel I think is great. I love the look on both of their faces. They just have this like downtrodden look and then a sophisticated, almost werewolf kind of vibe coming out. There's just something about that that just looks beautiful.
I agree. This page is very well drawn, and I want to also point out at the bottom, in that bottom panel, we have on the left Abel's house, the House of Secrets, and on the right is Cain's house, the House of Mystery.
And is it just me, or does Abel's house look a little sad? The way that it's drawn, it's all kind of droopy down. The even the windows, and it's got like almost like little sad looking eyes for window. Like I don't know if that was specifically drawn in that way to
I really
like
hope it
resemble the
was.
character. I hope so too because it really does like kind of like fit his personality perfectly.
It does. It does. And then on the next page, we get a double page spread, baby. This art is wonderful. Kane catches us up on what happened in the previous two issues. And again, if you'd like to know more about that, check out the previous two videos for Swamp Thing 48 and 49. Kane mentions everyone in the spirit world is choosing sides, ultimate light or ultimate darkness. Then on the other side of the page, we get this absolutely gorgeous rendering, a view of hell. Swamp Thing and Deadman leading a bunch of demons to fight against absolute darkness. I just, I mean, I'm at a loss for words for how good this page looks.
Those are some beautiful looking demons.
And yeah, I mean the tongue of the one hanging out on that left bottom left part there, it almost looks like there's like a screaming head on the end of it. Like this was somebody who was a horrible person in life, and now you're the tongue of a demon that just hangs out all the time.
It's everything on here just looks really well designed. I mean, these are demons are always fun to like look at and design and stuff because you can get so creative with them, and these look really good. Like you can tell this is a horror comic right here.
Yeah, love everything about this. And then on the next page, we actually find out that the majority of hell has sided with the Great Darkness. But the demons on the side of the Great Darkness have not attacked yet. Etrigan has gone to gather the cavalry, and the stranger has just disappeared. Um, Once again on this page, we have art that's pretty good. There's some places that's kind of lacking in detail, especially looking at Swamp Thing and Deadman. The demons are a little bit more detailed. You've got that really cool looking one that takes up like half the page on the left hand side. I think that's where they spent all their time. But just looking at the bottom two panels on here, it's kind of eh.
I don't mind it because I like that last panel of the two demons basically just feasting on looks like an arm and maybe a bone, a femur or something like that. That looked kind of cool to me.
It is. I'm lamenting the lack of detail here because it could have been so much better. Just looking at the previous page, we know it could have been so much better. Anyway, so we go to the next page, and I'm just gonna kind of for the audience, I'm just going to kind of scroll down this page a little bit so you can see what I'm going to be talking about here in a moment, before I go back up to the top and actually talk about it here. So the panel work, especially in the middle here with Swamp Thing and Constantine, uh, and the illustrations of some of the recent adventures showing up in the background. Uh, this is just perfection. I love all of this. Um, and in his discussion, Swamp Thing revisits the recent past. It intrigues me that he almost has a tone of regret when mentioning the vampire community that he wiped out. He wonders if he was any different from history's vilest butchers. Um, yeah,
I I mean, like, I don't know really what to say. This is just an amazing page because, like you said, that middle part is gorgeous with Swamp Thing and then Constantine and then like the little phantoms of the previous issues and stuff. It it almost reminds me. I cannot think of the name of the artist off the top of my head, but he wrote and drew Adam Warlock in the 70s for Marvel, and he was an inspiration for George Perez, I believe. But it kind of reminds me of that between the color scheme and everything. It's just no, no. I mean, like you could see like some Kirby-esque stuff here, but if I can remember the name before the episode is done, I will throw it out there, or we'll pop it up on the comments or something. But I remember he was a really popular artist in like the 70s and early 80s, and especially because the way that Constantine is drawn, it just reminds me a little bit of like Adam Warlock with the golden look to him and stuff. Of course, I'm pretty sure Warlock doesn't smoke.
gotcha. So I want to go back and talk. I kind of wanted to spin Swamp Thing from himself. He is worried about the fact that he killed a society of vampires. And my thoughts on that are, when you're killing supernatural creatures that are preying and feeding on humanity, and you're doing it to protect innocent people, and especially we're talking about literal children in this case. If you go back and read that issue, I don't think that was wrong of him. I think he did the right thing. Um, but I think it kind of shows how human he is, that he's questioning whether or not he did the right thing.
Yeah, it's kind of cool because it does show that no matter what, he's not capable of giving up his humanity. I mean, by all means, he should, especially after the Parliament of Trees and everything. Like they all apparently gave up their humanity, and now they're happy just being stuck in the ground as being trees. Um, where it's like he's still grasping onto that. He doesn't want to let it go, and that's what kind of makes him so special. And it feels like that's a very important thing for them to touch on in the beginning. Like that's going to come into play either in this issue or in future issues. The way that they keep like harping on that.
Yeah, I agree. Um, and then he laments how many problems humanity in general has based on things like gender, race, and also other things. And Swamp Thing's also pretty unhappy he doesn't have the answers he wants from Constantine. And he ends the page talking about Constantine being a universe away. And then as we move on to the next page, uh, we talk. It's kind of that transition that Alan Moore likes to do. Is Sargon telling Constantine, whatever it is getting closer. So Constantine is like a universe away, and then on the next page, it's getting closer. That kind of transition there is pretty cool.
Uh, I didn't, it's funny. I didn't pick up on that. Like the thing that popped in my head when he said a universe away was this like the beginning of the divide between Vertigo and then mainstream DC kind of thing. Uh,
I wonder if they actually went that deep in the thought behind it. But it is Alan Moore, so it would probably depend on how many drugs he had taken that day. Um, so the page begins, like we said, with Sargon telling Constantine that whatever it is getting closer. Zatanna is there preparing with Constantine and Sargon. They start the seance to give their combined energies to the battle that is about to occur in the afterworld. Now, present in the circle, we have Constantine, Zatanna, Zatara, that's Zatanna's father, Sargon, Minto, Baron Winters, and Dr. Occult. And we actually learned last episode that Dr. Occult was not one of the people that was invited. If you'd like to know more about who these people are and why they are there, please check out our last episode. We went into details about all of these people. Um, they are instructed not to cross the streams.
There's something very important I forgot to tell you.
What?
Don't cross the streams.
Why?
It would be bad.
I'm fuzzy on the whole good-bad thing. What do you mean bad?
Try to imagine all life as you know it stopping instantaneously and every molecule in your body exploding at the speed of light.
Total protonic reversal.
All right, that's bad. Okay. All right, important safety tip. Thanks, Egon. All right.
Wait, no, I mean, not to break the circle. That's it. Minto continues from the last issue to be worried about what is going to happen to him with these dangerous energies that are going to be channeled through him.
I mean, okay. I understand his concerns. I totally get it. They are valid. I am not dismissing them. I would agree. I'd be 100% on board with his concerns. I wouldn't trust Constantine either. I wouldn't trust Constantine to water a cactus for me over the weekend. So the dude's sketchy. However, Mento's a little complainy for me, a little whiny at times. I just kind of was like, all right, calm down, dude.
I think Minto knew what he was getting into. He just didn't really want to admit it to himself.
I could definitely see that. Like you see the worry on his face, the way that it's drawn most of the time. Like he feels like something is going to happen, and that definitely makes sense.
Totally. And then moving on to the next page, Minto, aka Steve Dayton, sees the demon preparing for war. The demon is putting on strange and demonic armor that requires him to spike living scorpion like demons to his armor. Dayton is very upset about this. Um, and I just want to comment on Etrigan, the demon, there at the bottom. Um, the First of all, to me, that really doesn't look like Etrigan, but at the same time, he looks so badass there. I mean, for art,
It's
it's like I am here for this. It just doesn't look like the demon that I'm familiar with.
to me, it's like it's not great looking art, but at the same time, it is great looking art. Or where it's like I would have probably agreed with you on like, okay, like it wasn't that good, detail, stuff like that. You expect better. But at the same time, what it lacks for maybe in detail or actual, you know, being able to recognize him as the demon, it makes up for in the fact that he looks crazy. He looks like a freaky, just mentally insane demon. And that I absolutely love that they captured that in his face.
Yes, yeah, I agree. As we move on to the next page, Etrigan rhymes as he puts on his armor. We see all kinds of creatures being kind of held down in this bottom panel here. Um, the art on this bottom panel is not great. I think, especially on this bottom right panel, Etrigan looks awful here. Like, so bad.
Yeah, I have to agree with you on this one. I mean, by this point though, I wasn't even paying attention to the artwork. I was trying to understand the rhymes because the rhyming scheme for the demon always throws me off. Trying to figure out where the rhyme is supposed to happen, and it's just, and I think I broke it down. I think it's because like poetry does not work well in comic book format, going from word bubble to word bubble to word bubble. It doesn't feel like it flows naturally. Where on the the page when it goes directly down, you can follow it. And that could just be me. I might be stupid. I don't know. but I had a hard time figuring that out. So I didn't pay attention to the artwork as much as I should have.
Maybe that's why I don't like it as much. I think you're right about that. I don't know, because I've mentioned in the past that I don't like Etrigan's rhyming. I'm not a big fan of the demon. I also mentioned that as soon as I get done reading my Doom Patrol DC Finest book, I'm going to be switching over to the demon from the beginning when Kirby was working on it. And I'm hoping to get a new appreciation for the demon there. But you may be right. It may just be that poetry doesn't really work in comics. Anyway, so we move on to the next page. Switch back into a different part of hell where Dayton has located Deadman and Swamp Thing. Then Dr. Fate appears unexpectedly. Deadman gets Swamp Thing and Fate acquainted with each other, and then some demons start screaming about lights coming.
I I don't know why, but the thing that stood out to me the most on this was the way he was talking about Dr. Fate showing up with the sand blowing endlessly across endless bronze deserts. Like that was just beautiful. Like I could picture it, and it sums him up so well because I mean he is basically like an Egyptian character. Um, so I loved that.
Next, the stranger shows up too. This is going to be a team up for the ages. He has brought some angels with him to aid in the fight. The stranger notes how remarkable it is to see demons and angels fighting on the same side, and then they get to organizing the troops, as it were. Uh, the art on this page is just rough. I mean, it is so rushed, and this is supposed to be an anniversary issue. People who were reading this comic monthly have literally been waiting over a year, or maybe almost 2 years, for this to get here and to receive rushed art like this. And at this point, I'm not even sure I'm blaming the artist. I don't think it's the artist's fault. I think it's editorial for not getting more issues in the can before they started publishing, and then making the artists just rush through everything, because they had to keep the monthly schedule. I think this book would have been better served if they had let it be a little bit late. Not a lot late, Jim Lee, working on Hush 2. Not a year late, just a little late.
Um, yeah, I can see that, but I think at the same time, it's like this was like, we've got the '80s and the '70s, and comics were cheaper. I mean, looking at the cover of this issue sold for $1.25. Um, so I could see editors being like, if you're going to complain about the artwork, about it's not up to your standards, and you spend $1.25 on this comic, you can kindly shut the hell up. And I would not be I would probably say, yeah, Mr. Editor, you're right, because especially now when like most books coming out are like $5, I would kill to pay $1.25 for a 50th anniversary issue.
I have noticed a disturbing trend that has started just this year. That $5 uh, price tag used to be about the average, and it seems lately that the average is starting to get closer to $6. And I noticed that there are some, especially independent books, single issues, 32 pages, going upwards of $8 each, which I think the indie artists deserve to get paid. And I understand how expensive it is to publish comics, and I also understand that we don't have the same scale that they did back in the 80s. They aren't selling as many issues, but $8 an issue? Damn, bro.
In our lifetime, before we die, we were going to be spending $10 an issue for an Amazing Spider-Man comic, and that's gonna kill my soul.
Yeah. Anyway, we're trying to stay focused and not get too far off afield. So let's save that for this coming stream that we're going to do one of these days. So on the next page, we get a really cool shot of the Demon Cavalry, including some big giant demon in the background who's kind of like looming over everyone. Um, the art is still really, really rough. I want to like this page because of how epically metal it should be, with demons and spikes and living armor that's currently wriggling around and all of that stuff. And I just can't. It's the art is so bad.
I'm just accustomed to art like this, so it doesn't bother me that much, and I'm more focused on the story and everything at this point, and I'm getting hyped up for the coming battle. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be good. This is gonna be good. This is surely there is no point in this story where I'm gonna be let down in any way whatsoever by any part of this battle, whether it be in hell or whether it be the mystical side. Surely I will not be let down.
Next, we see Constantine asking Dayton if the Spectre is around, and Dayton says no. Then someone suggests that they take a look at the enemy. They have formed up ranks as well, and everyone is waiting. So it mentions the three demon brothers. They are Wrath, uh, Abnegeyser, and Gast, known as the Demons Three, who first appeared in Justice League of America number 10 in March 1962. It's kind of cool that they're pulling back somebody, bad guys from the early 60s to be the bad guys in this comic. That's pretty freaking cool. And the art on the bottom portion of this page is really good. Um,
It is. And I called it too. I could have swore I said before. I said like I did mention that they were Justice League villains, and I thought I said that they were the Demons Three. Maybe I wasn't 100% sure.
mm,
So if I got that right, I'm very proud of myself. I deserve
good job,
a
Cookie.
pat on the back.
So on the next page, something finally starts to happen. The great darkness starts moving. Dayton notes how massive it is. Someone tells Dayton to make sure that he doesn't let go of the circle. Dayton says it's too big. We can't fight it. Uh, he's begging them to, the people in the circle, to let him remove his helmet. I kind of feel for Dayton here. It sucks to have to be the one to experience all this, realize how truly terrifying this thing is, and explain it to the rest of the circle. And at the same time, the circle is like, STFU, do your job, Dayton.
Yeah, I mean this is where I do start to feel a little bit bad for him because it's like they're not experiencing the things that he's experiencing. They're just asking questions and like, hey, what's going on? Well, it's like the annoying guy in the movie theater that doesn't understand the movie that keeps bugging everyone. Um, but Dayton's like, I'm getting the full picture here. It's like not just picture. This is like the feelings, the emotions, everything is traveling through him. It's like they treat him like crap here, and I feel bad for Mr. Dayton now.
Yeah, I agree. And and it's really reinforced on the next page. Constantine apologizes to Dayton, but coldly tells him, "We can't stop." Sargon says they need to keep building up their power. Uh, Dayton continues to beg to be let out of the circle. The circle continues to tell him no. Dayton tells Constantine, "Hey, I trusted you." But Dayton also recognizes is that now he has no choice but to continue. Dayton can see the demon's mind, and the demon wants to charge on the great darkness.
Yeah, I mean, Constantine, like I like Constantine, but he's coming off like a real douche right here. But you understand why. But it's like I feel like essentially what's going on is you're getting no real like good guy, bad guy scenario thing here. It's like everyone's kind of showing their darker side and also their sympathetic side. Constantine doesn't want to do this, but he feels he has to do this. It's like if I have to sacrifice these people, I will to save everybody. But he doesn't want to do it. And I feel like the same thing with Dayton.
It's just that's Constantine's theme. So then on the next page, Etrigan breaks through the ranks of the demons, of the opposing demons, and charges for the shoreline of where the Great Darkness is. Uh, the art here is decent. Not great. Etrigan in the top right panel looks kind of terrible.
Yeah, I mean, it's not super great or anything, but I'm more concerned with like, okay, and this is going to come up on the next page too. What the hell is on Etrigan's face?
Like on his head was part of his moving scorpion armor.
No, no, no. Around his eyes. He's got like two things around his eyes. They look like starfish.
Yeah, he put those on earlier. They're part of his living
Okay,
armor.
I did not notice that. That makes him look goofy as hell.
It it does. Very David Bowie, as it were. Looking at these pencils, this is what I would expect from the rough pencils ahead of time when they're trying to get the layout and make sure everybody's happy with where everybody's located. This does not look like a finished page of art to me.
Uh, I don't know. It's not. I mean, the question would be actually to go back in the absolute edition and look at the recolored, the like remastered one, and see if that helps it out or anything. If they improved it or if it just like I can't tell. It's hard to say what. I mean, it's definitely not great looking, but I mean, I've seen worse. So maybe that's why it doesn't bother me as much.
So, as we move on to the next page, Minto can see through Etrigan's eyes as the demon is making his attack. Dayton notes that the demon is drowning in darkness.
That's
Shit, I lost
now
my place.
of all the
Sorry. Go ahead and say what you're going to say. I can cut the little part in the middle out there.
okay, of all the things that you were complaining about on the other page, I now have to complain about the way Constantine looks on this page. He doesn't look like Constantine to me.
Yeah, I kind of see what you're talking about. It's not terrible, but yeah, it's difficult to tell that that's supposed to be Constantine. Luckily, we have a little bit more context, but yeah, you're right. That's not great. Um, but the circle tells Dayton not to lose the demon. But then, unfortunately, the demon is gone.
Um, I can't be the only one that was thinking at this point in time that, all right, maybe it wasn't the smartest idea for you to go like head first into this. I mean,
I don't think anybody's ever accused the demon of being smart, brave, willing to run up into the middle of something that he shouldn't be involved in. I mean, honestly, this gives me a lot of respect for the demon that I don't know that I had before. It shows what kind of character he has. He may be winning me over a little bit as long as he's keeping his mouth shut and not rhyming.
I mean, it's definitely brave, and yeah, it's not smart. I mean, this is like Wolverine versus Godzilla. Like, I don't care how much of a badass you are, you're getting stepped on, buddy.
Wolverine's even small enough that Godzilla wouldn't notice him. Anyway, on the next page, we see Etrigan falling through the Great Darkness as the Great Darkness talks to him. The Great Darkness existed before the light existed. The demon says the Great Darkness name is evil, the absence of God's light, and is always locked in an endless fight with the light. Great Darkness says it does not need the demon and spits him out. Dayton finally picks the demon back up again. The and Dayton says the Great Darkness literally chewed up and spit out the demon. Um, the close up on the fourth panel there with the stars around Etrigan's eyes. I really like that particular piece of art, but that's really the only art on this page that I like.
Uh, I mean, that makes sense because that's the only one that's got detail, and you are a sucker for detail.
Hmm.
The rest of it, yeah, it's not. I mean, I don't have a problem with the one where he's getting spit out because it's like, okay, it's a motion, uh, like panel. It's like there's supposed to be something happening, so I don't expect a lot of detail. The last one looks a little funky looking. I can't entirely tell what is going on with Etrigan's face there. Um,
I feel like he
yeah,
smacked the
that's weird.
ground there, and that's kind of like a grimace face. Is his the side of his face is hitting the ground.
Maybe that's what it is. Like in this, the single issue here, it is not great looking. I would be very interested to see what it looks like in like a remastered uh, edition of this because I mean you're complaining about artwork that's probably better than what I'm seeing. So that's interesting. I do like though, like going back a few seconds ago of how we were talking about, insignificant characters against gigantic characters, and then the first thing we see in that panel is Demon being called Little Thing. I thought that
Mm,
was beautiful.
yeah, yeah, that's a good point. I'm gonna bring up Absolute Batman for just a moment. I don't know. Have you read the issue where Batman and Bane meet for the first time?
Yes.
This reminds me a lot. The Great Darkness being Bane and the Demon being Batman, the interaction that they had. And I wonder if that interaction was inspired by this because they look parallel to me.
I could see that. I think I don't know if Snyder is a Alan Moore fan or not. I feel like he is. I feel like he's drawn on some inspirations from Moore in the past. So I could definitely see that.
All right, so moving on to the next page, Dayton sees the Great Darkness advancing. The Great Darkness notices Dayton and the Circle. The Great Darkness lashes out at the Circle, and they all feel it in a very painful way. They can feel it going around the Circle, looking for a weak link. Sargon starts to smolder and burn from within. Uh, the art here is okay. It again feels rushed, and I wish the artist had had more time to finish it.
Yeah, the facial expressions are not that great. I mean, Sargon kind of. Mm, I'm not 100%. Yeah, which is funny because Constantine up in the top corner up there looks like he's having a different experience, one that's possibly a bit more pleasurable.
I think Swamp Thing. Sorry, I'm gonna cut that part out. I think Constantine looks like he's pooping.
I mean, that could be it too, or it could be his O face.
He
Either way.
didn't. He didn't eat his prunes that day. Um. So we move on to the next page, and Sargon is in pain, but Zatanna tells Sargon to die like a sorcerer, and Sargon agrees to do it quietly. Then he literally turns to ash, burning the hands of the people around him. Yet still, no one can let go of Sargon's hands. It burns Constantine, but he tells everyone, push on to the last man if need be. Again, here the art is rushed and undetailed. Um, it, I mean, all of the art in Swamp Thing comics feels rushed, but when we have Bissette on the interiors of an issue, it's always worse than when anybody else is on the interiors.
um, yeah. The weird thing though is this doesn't feel like Bissette. Like even Bissette at his worst, it doesn't feel like this is him. Like the faces look really weird to me. More so than when Bissette does stuff.
What happens next? I'm sorry to say, we're at the end of the episode for this week. Um, what's our scoring on the issue? Well, you're going to have to tune in next week to find out. Tune in the same swampy time and the same swampy channel as we finish out this oversized issue.
Yes, we're all anxiously wondering what is coming next. What is going to happen? How many more times will Randy complain about the artwork? only you will find out next episode.
How many pages are left? Because I feel like it's going to be that many times. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. And may your next seance not leave you a pile of ash. Okay, you got something better, smart
Do I
guy?
have something better? Yeah, I got something better. You know,
Come
okay,
on,
I
where
had
is it?
something better. I had some. I had something better. Oh, okay. So, yes, that is it for the night. And if we can leave you with one bit of advice, it is that, like Sargon, don't die like a little wimp.
Thanks, everybody, for joining us.